This is David Darg, Assistant Director for International Programs with Operation Blessing. I'm in Bihar state in northeastern India, where terrible monsoon rains have left this region with devastating floods. 18 days of continual rains came down over the Himalayan mountains and flooded through Nepal into India and are now draining out through Bangladesh, and the whole region is completely devastated. It's estimated that up to 50 million people have been affected by this disaster. It's been 5 days since the rain stopped, but there's still floodwater everywhere. Villages that were built on high ground to keep out of the floods have now been turned into islands, and the people in those villages are marooned. Food is a major need of the people right now, and these relief kits contain rice, sugar, and energy biscuits that will last a family of 8 up to a week. The kits also contain essential medical items such as oral rehydration salts and tablets for chlorinating water. One of these tablets will purify 20 liters of water. It's interesting that each disaster we respond to seems to have its own set of unique problems. Just recently in China, we saw how a plague of rats was terrorizing villagers in Hunan province. Here in India, they have their own plague. Here it's snakes. The snakes are fleeing the fields, searching for higher ground, and that's the same high ground where the people have built their villages. So all the snakes and the people are living together on the very little dry land that there is, and people are being bitten at an alarming rate. It's the psychological effect of the snake bite that could be the biggest killer here in Bihar. Because of their fear of being bitten by a snake, the people are defecating right outside their homes. They're too afraid to go out to the bushes, especially at night. And if you consider that mixed with the fact that the floodwaters full of sewage are mixing with their current drinking water, it's no wonder that the UN is predicting a major disease outbreak in the coming days. About 1 in 5 people we saw were complaining of abdominal pains and had acute diarrhea. There's virtually no health care in this region, and this hospital in Roxul is the only facility that's catering to about 350,000 people in the area. The doctors are working at full capacity. We've already started to treat cholera patients here at the hospital in Roxul, and those are the fortunate ones that were able to get here in time. And we've seen an increase in pregnant women that needed to be evacuated from the flood zone, and the nursery is booming. There's babies everywhere. But all of this is putting an incredible strain on the facility, and the medical staff are worried that if there is an outbreak of something like cholera on a large scale, that they won't be able to cope. Now that the waters have started to recede, it's presenting an even bigger challenge to us here, because before we were using boats and there was so much water that it was very easy to navigate from village to village. Now that the water is going down, it's leaving very narrow channels, and we're having to sometimes get out where the boat gets grounded. In just a few days, the waters will recede to the point where boats are made ineffective. It'll become a quagmire, and no vehicle will be able to reach any of the villages. Once that happens, the villagers in those locations will be completely cut off. No one will be able to get out if they need medical attention, and no relief will be able to come in. So it's going to be a very critical time for those people, and that's why right now we're rushing as fast as we can to try and reach as many villages as possible. This year has seen some of the worst flooding that many people can remember here in South Asia. But just because the misery is so widespread does not mean that we as humanitarians are powerless. And Operation Blessing is committed to staying here and helping the people for as long as possible. This is David Darg with Operation Blessing.